June 26, 2010 at the Royal Bafokeng Stadium, USA versus Ghana. In the last 16 round of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, after an hour and 32 minutes of battle with the Americans, finally, the Danubian tactician found a route for Samoa Jan to smash the ball through Tim Howard into the net. Ghana defeated United States of America, and the roar, of course, was thunderous. Well, Uruguay versus Ghana in the quarterfinals could have topped that if not for that bitter taste in the mouth at the last minute. We all recall that. But that was the last time we shared a sweet moment with Milovan Rybak. As he puts it, he has an unfinished business in Ghana, hence his second coming. Will it be a matrai makwe, as some Ghanaians put it? What will be his tactics this time round? Still a one-goal project, considering how hard it is these days to find a spine in the present Black Stars team. What can Milo do? No doubt, Milo brings discipline to the national team. Milo is part of our history, and his ideas and qualities cannot be overlooked. But really, you see the answer to our woes right now. My guest to take all your questions tonight is the Communications Director for the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Twum. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM together with a dozen affiliates across the country. JoyNews channel right here, Prime, Joy Prime. We're also live, myjoyonline.com, and all our social media platforms. Together, let's probe the second coming of Milo. More importantly, whether an AFCON success and World Cup qualification is a given under Milo. As they say, Milo is for future champions. This is The Probe, and I am Emefa Apau. Back in a bit. Please stay with me.
Interference. It depends on how people interpret it. But if it is that in 2010, when we were going to the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa, I paid particular attention to all the teams we were going to face at the group stages. I placed premium on the preparation of Australia, Serbia, and Germany. There was a particular name in the German squad, Lukas Podolski, who was then playing for Arsenal. Lukas Podolski, within a 24-month period, had played only 10 times for Germany and 12 times for his club side. And the German media felt he did not merit a call-up. But Joachim Löw said, look, Oliver Bierhoff, you are the team manager. Lothar Matthäus, you are the the technical director. But I feel that when it comes to commitment and people or players who can give their all to the national team, he is one that I trust. And so I want to take him to the World Cup. In that team, he had a blend of young and old. He had Philip Lahm, Jerome Boateng, Lukas Podolski, Hovedes. He had, yes, then I think Manuel Neuer was now coming through the terrain, Sami Khedira, Mesut Ozil, who else? And all those players.
The point is?
But at the end of the day, he defended his squad. But it did not go without scrutiny, without proper discussion, without proper interrogation. That is not interference. It's because the FA wanted to behave as a responsible football association, and they felt they had suggestions and opinions to offer. And it's the same thing we do here. So it has nothing to do with interference.
That's not what we hear. It appears that...
What do you hear?
It appears that executives have players.
The FA put names in the squad.
Yes.
The FA put names.
Personal interest, you push it down the throat of the coaches. You don't allow them room to call up their own players.
So the FA put names in the squad, and the coach cannot speak?
He has no choice.
No. It doesn't happen that way.
He has no choice.
I have sat in meetings where the coach try as much as possible to defend why this name must be in the squad and not that name.
That is why Milo has already served the warning, at least a caution that he will not take interference.
But who says in 2010 the squad Milo took to the World Cup did not go through scrutiny? I was with the team in Dubai. When Milo named his final 23-man squad, he had players on standby. You remember the controversy surrounding Laie Kingston in 2010, that there was even a demonstration at Bukom. Milo stood his grounds and said, no. Look, I have Prince Tego who gives me wide options. I have Samuel Inkum who gives me wide options. I have Kevin Prince Boateng who gives me wide options. I have Andre Ayew. And as a result, I don't think Larry, that's how he calls him, Larry must be in my team. Officials probed and probed and probed like we are doing on this show, but the coach said, I am sorry. Take out Andre, Inkum, Prince Tego, Montari, and put Larry. And officials couldn't take out any of those names to put Larry. And that is how
not scrutiny.
We settled on
interference is when you say that you insist that he should put Larry.
No.
And that's what happens.
No, intervention is when you feel a certain player must be given the opportunity at the expense of the other and the coach must defend. And that is not interference. Because at the end of the day, we take the glory when things go well, and we are fully blamed or partly blamed when things don't go well. And so, intervention is when I feel MFA Apau host this show better and not the other person. But management feels we prefer the other person. That is not an interference. I have made an intervention. I said, based on assessment, based on my understanding of the media spectrum, I feel MFI is a better host.
So we have scrutiny, intervention, and interference. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's part of the process. It's part of the process. It happens in every football club. Who says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer woke up one day and when they told him Cristiano Ronaldo was coming back, he liked the idea. He liked the idea maybe because he's a club icon, but maybe not because of philosophy of football and understanding of tactics. It happens in every game. It happens in every football industry that officials would like to ask questions because even though the buck stop with the coach, responsibility of results affects all of us, including myself. You think I don't have sleepless nights when the Black Stars don't win? In South Africa, I couldn't sleep on the flight on our way back to Accra because it was tough for me to accept the fact that we lost to the South Africans. And I lost count of the number of times I hit bottles on the ground and started asking myself questions. It was even difficult to walk to the dressing room to call the captain and the coach for post-match because the results didn't go our way. So we are all responsible for the results. That's why you want to know why this player is in and the other player is not in. It has nothing to do with interference.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes, whether those watching us are convinced that indeed there's no interference in terms of player collapse, amongst others. And we've heard Milo at that press conference mention that he wanted to entertain player imposition from the GFA, and at least...
but he will open up for suggestions.
You open up for you force him to open up for
No. But if I see a player who plays in Sweden, I watch him 10 times and I feel he's
so with
he's
the current scrutiny of his squad that he's brought up, presented to the FA for scrutiny, have we already suggested some names that should be taken out, some that should be added?
No, I'm sure it's a process. Once he submitted the squad on Sunday, discussions have been held between Saturday and today. And I'm sure we will settle on a squad tomorrow and make it public.
But is the GFA satisfied with what you've seen in terms of the names that he's
Discussions
presented?
have been held. Meetings have been held. The whole of yesterday, we had a meeting and discussed various ideas, philosophies, coaches, options, blah, blah, blah. And so between the day he was unveiled, from the day he came in, you needed to give him time to watch videos, assess the squad, look at the strength of the team, look at the weakness of the team. And now, once he's watched all those games, he has a plan on paper. He has also started speaking to some of the senior figures in the team. When the international breaks comes around, he will get the chance to meet them physically. But he has started talking to them via phone. And so far, discussions with the players look quite positive. So he's watched videos. That is the first stage.
Okay.
He has a fair idea of the team. That is the second stage. He knows what to do to grind results. It is a third stage. And the fourth stage is to present a squad, which he has done. Okay. Discussions have been held. He knows exactly what he wants to do. And after the roundtable discussions and whenever there is an agreement, based on the blessing of the coach, we'll make the squad public.
Okay. Well, we'll come back shortly after this break to answer Ansa's question about whether Milo has apologized to the FA and Ghanaians for the way he left us previously. This is The Probe on the Joy News channel, Joy Prime, myjoyonline.com, all our social media platforms, Joy 99.7 FM. Let's do this quick turnaround. We're right back. Welcome back. This is The Probe here on the Joy News channel, also on Joy Prime. And my guest tonight is Henry Asante Twum, Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, and the things that go on behind the scenes when we are on break. Welcome back, Henry. So let's take Ansa's question. Has Milo apologized to the FA and Ghanaians for the way he left us previously?
How did he leave us? Milo worked for 1 month after the expiration of his contract in 2010. He wanted to continue. He mentioned it at the at the press conference, the unveiling press conference, that he would have loved to stay with us, but the circumstances didn't allow him. And at that time, his contract elapsed in June, just I think 2 days or so after we were eliminated by Uruguay. And then he comes back to Ghana. The FA is not forthcoming with information. Okay. He doesn't know the way forward. Offers are on the table. If you were Milo in 2010, what would you have done? So he felt we weren't ready to renew his contract at the time, and that's why he walked away. And from here, he moved on with his life.
So he owes us no apology?
Personally, I think he owes us no apology, honestly. And it's one of the things he spoke about when we unveiled him. He says he feels he has an unfinished business with Ghana because he would have really, really loved to continue with us, but for the circumstances that he met after the 2010 World Cup. So let's move on. Okay.
We have Supremo's question. How does Henry Asante Twum respond to concerns that they don't offer local coaches the needed support, and not only that, interfere with their work, including influencing call-ups? So you don't offer local coaches the same support that you seem to be offering.
What is
Milo,
support?
for instance, and the pomp and pageantry surrounding his second coming.
What is support? We unveiled CK Akono the same we did for Milo. We gave him the support he deserves. In the first place, let me mention that at the time Kwesi Appiah was relieved of his duties, the state owed him money. At the time Avram Grant was relieved of his duties, the state owed him money. Not just Avram Grant, but almost the entire backroom staff of Avram Grant were owed money by the state. Kwesi Appiah is a Ghanaian. He was owed money by the state. Avram Grant is an expatriate. He was owed money by the state. Recently, CK is still being owned by the state. So I don't know how he means by support. In any case, MFA, let me mention this. We traveled to, aside our trips to Turkey, where we played Mali and Qatar in 2 international friendlies. We've traveled on charter at every moment the Black Stars played abroad. We traveled to Sudan with charter. A black man was at the helm. CK, it's a Ghanaian. We traveled to South Africa twice, charter. We traveled to Morocco recently, charter. We traveled to, and where else? I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that if it's about support, if it's about planning, we have done more than enough. And we will continue to do more than enough to create an enabling environment for our coaches to work effectively and get us the result. It has nothing to do with color. I've had opportunities at the BBC, DW, TV, Radio Netherlands, not because of my color, because maybe I have something here to offer. And so I cannot walk into a job and treat my fellow Ghanaian anyhow. But the public have a way of receiving information. Now, the media also have a way of carrying out information. When it comes to support, look, we played Ethiopia. We didn't win handsomely. Bonuses were given to players on the bus on our way from Cape Coast to Accra, even before we boarded the flight to South Africa. How do you describe that? Is that not more? Is that not, no, not cash. Checks were issued to players on the bus from our way to Accra from Cape Coast. If that is not support, what else? That Black Stars play a game, immediately after the game, winning bonuses are given to them, and you don't hear even a cough from members of the team.
It's not all about the money. The concern is that at least.
Okay, so the support
in terms of the working conditions.
Like what? Like what? We moved
not
to camp.
giving the
We moved to camp. We moved to camp.
room
We
to
moved to camp
operate.
early. We moved to camp
They're always
early.
breathing down their necks.
We've slept in the best hotels, as far as my memory serves me right, in the last 1.5 years, across the globe, everywhere we've been. Sometimes traveling arrangements, because of COVID these days, you have to delay at the airport. We got to Morocco in the morning. We spent about 2 hours at the airport. It is not because the FA wanted the players to spend 2 hours at the airport, but because the immigration authorities in Rabat on that day felt players needed to go through COVID-19 protocols before they issue a visa, because it is visa on arrival. So those arrangements are made in advance. You can say, if it is that the training grounds are poor, if it is that we get to the training grounds and the training ground looks bushy, we haven't weeded the training ground, the hotels are poor, food at the hotels are poor, then you can talk about support. What is the meaning of support? This is a team that gets virtually everything that is needed for a team to perform. Travel on charter flights, sleep in good hotels, and you are talking about support. What I want to understand the meaning. Maybe there is another meaning of support that I don't know about. But as far as I am concerned, because I have been with the team from day one,
They've always been given the free room to operate.
and everywhere we've been, this team have had the best conditions.
I'm not talking about just that. So would you say that the GFA has always given at least the previous local coach the free will, the free room to operate?
Look, free room to operate. We have pre-game, we have in-game, we have post-game. Pre-game is what I have already discussed, where certain recommendations and interventions are made. In-game, nobody forces coaches for selections. After game, nobody forces coaches to change teams. It is based on performance. They change players based on performance. He feels this game the player did not perform well and we have to change him in the next game. And they do it willingly. Look, I get to, when we went to Sudan, under very harsh weather conditions, working conditions, immediately after the game, I walked down the dressing room, went straight into the OB van to demand the video of the match. With police escorts, my life was at stake. But it is part of my job. I needed to make provision for the video so that the technical team would study the video post-match. I walked down there, got the video and brought it. In South Africa, bus was waiting, engine on. I was chasing the video. They had to give me a copy of the game, even though we lost. Post-match, I rushed down the tunnel, went into the OB van to get a video of the game. That cannot, if it is that I did it for the white man and I didn't do it for the black man, it means you are not giving the black man the opportunity to work. So when it comes to support, when it comes to atmosphere of work,
you're giving it to them. Well, let's take Leila too. Milo to earn 300,000 USD for qualifying Ghana to the World Cup. Is money the only motivation? There's also questions I've seen about 30K in 2008, 30K in 2021. How so? But let's take the qualifying one first. Leila two's question. Is money the only motivation?
Money is not the only motivation, but you also need it to work. It's like starting your car engine without fuel. You cannot start your car engine without fuel. Whether it is diesel or petrol, you still need fuel to be able to start your engine. So we think it's a factor. It is not the only factor. So the other factors include proper training fields, proper stadiums, supports from all and sundry, officialdom and all that. But the rest is that the man must have an eye on something, that this is my price. If I'm able to do it, this is what I get to take. Because Yapia got it in 2010. Sorry, 2014, when he qualified us to the World Cup in Brazil.
So 30K 2008, 30K
$30,000 now, 30,000 euros in 2008.
2008,
So the currency is not the same. And in 2008, the state took care of his interpreter. Now he is taking care of his interpreter.
Okay, so there was a question from Roger. How much does a country get when we qualify or win the AFCON?
I think it's $2 million or so.
$2 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question. Lawe is asking what informed the decision to appoint assistant coaches who are going to work on part-time. Will they pay attention to this job?
They will. They will. I mean, David Duncan, you know, since this administration took office, we made a decision to appoint 2 assistant coaches for all national teams, 17, 15, 20, and then 23, the Black Stars. If Duncan worked in isolation as the only assistant coach for about 8 months, because we approached George Boateng. Initially, he agreed to join us. Later, he was appointed the U19 coach of Aston Villa, so he couldn't join us.
Okay.
And that's why we've brought Otto Addo on board. And Otto is, you know, well-vexed, with so much experience, and he's going to bring a lot to the table. So, look, MFA, working as Black Stars assistant coach does not only happen when games are being played.
Okay.
You work in your individual capacity.
But that's the more reason why they're asking why they will be working on part-time basis. That's the more reason.
Yes, but I'm saying that. But I'm saying that the service they offer goes beyond being seen on the sidelines.
Okay. Well,
even in that state, they still have a lot to offer us.
I have under 1 minute to go. I see the 9 key elements in terms of the contract with Milo. I see no agent clause in there.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that
previously
because
there was an agent. Now we headhunted, so we spoke to him directly. So there is no agent. We are not paying any agency fee whatsoever. And
he's not supposed to deal with any agency. We are told that is because Siki Akuno had agents who influenced squad selection.
Really?
Correct?
Really? I'm unaware of that.
Is that true?
Siki Akuno was also headhunted. He didn't come through any agent. Yes, so I don't know where that is coming from, but that's the truth. What I just said is the truth.
Okay.
Siki was headhunted. What was headhunted, Milo was also headhunted.
Okay. Well, as a nation, do we still believe we have players good enough to meet the targets we have set?
More than enough.
Okay.
I can close my eyes and mention 10 players on the local front who have the quality.
Okay.
On the foreign front, loads of them.
And that's it for tonight's edition of The Probe here on the JoyNews channel. Communications Director Henry Asante Twum, my guests. Thank you very much for tonight. And it's Osambolobo. Have a good evening. A Walk with Jesus is up next on radio.